Hello, hello, my friends. I'm so excited to get this episode out to you guys. As you can tell, it's been a little crazy over here, and I did not release an episode last week, and this week's is a little late, but we are surviving. We're like getting into summer. We're day 2 right now, and it's been already very fulfilling. Like I've actually been very organized with it, which is something different, but nonetheless, I wanted to get on here and I wanted to share a message with you guys today. And as I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about, I went back to the core of the group. And there are several of you that have been listening for a long time, that have been in my world, that have, been my clients, that have been my friends, that are in some kind of capacity with me and just have shared so much with me. And it reminded me how important those basic understandings of our lives and our intuition and the programming and all of it, like all of it has this basis and this foundation that I truly believe in. And that's where my heart is. That's how I help other people. That's how I live my life. And that's what I like to share with people. And I thought this group is, a solid whatever amount of people that are spiritually aware, that are emotionally intelligent, and yet they're still finding themselves getting triggered or stuck or recognizing self-sabotaging behavior. And so this episode is my hope to peel back the curtain on why that happens to so many of us and how deep subconscious reprogramming, like the work that I do and that you guys do, can be the missing piece. So let's get started. If you are new here, welcome, welcome. My name is Aubrey Bahr. I'm a subconscious release technique coach and a Reiki master, and I love to inspire and help other people in my life to be able to reach a new place for themselves, to be able to gain the confidence and the wisdom and the relationships and the business that they truly deserve. And I don't believe in staying stuck. I do not believe that we are plagued to run on this hamster wheel where we are making the same mistakes and we see the same patterns showing up in our lives. I am here to change that because I changed that for myself and I help people to change that all the time. And I just know that there is something better on the other side of that. So welcome. If it's your first time here, definitely hit the follow so that way you get all of our episodes when they come out. Feel free to download any past episodes. There is like a plethora of, and I always want to use that word, so that really worked beautifully, a plethora of amazing information out there, of amazing guests, of opportunities to learn something and to heal right from this episode or others like it. So I'm so happy you are here. Let's talk first about the difference between conscious healing and subconscious programming, because I feel like there's a little bit of a muddy water situation happening here. So mindset work, journaling, or even therapy sometimes just don't stick. And that's the reality that a lot of us live in, because many of us have been dealing with things where we've had to go to therapy and we've had to go really take time out of our day to make sure that we journal and to make sure that we're having a deep, emotional connection with ourselves. And yet those things often bring things up for us and are not able to release them. So the 95% rule for this is how your subconscious runs your habits, reactions, and identity. So 95% of what's going on in your subconscious or what's going on in your life is being ruled by your habits, your reactions, and what you perceive your identity to be, right? Oh man, that subconscious, it will tell us what our identity is. It will tell us if we're good or not. It will tell us if we're worth anybody's time. You guys know it. Maybe it's not as blatant sometimes, which is great, right? But it is in the background and it is kind of dictating how we show up in the world. And if we allow it and if we listen to it, it will hold us back in all of the ways, in every category of your life. Okay, so what's a subconscious resistant actually looks like is like when you say out loud, hey, I kind of need more clients right now. Like my business is suffering and it needs to grow. But then you procrastinate every time you need to show up. Right? That would be a good example of what this resistance looks like. Or you crave peace, But you can't relax until everyone else is first addressed. Are your kids taken care of? Is your spouse taken care of? Like, you don't get to take a break until everybody else is taken care of. And then you wonder why you never feel peace. There's a lot of examples in this category. Like, for instance, we just started summer. I wanted to start off with a bang. There's several things on my list where I'm like, every day we're going to do this. We have some spiritual meditation practices. We have spiritual, like, scripture reading that we're going to be doing. We have very physical things that we're going to be doing every day. And we started off really, really great because I prioritized that first thing in the morning. I didn't say, well, I'm going to do those dishes first, and then we'll start with those really good habits we're trying to build. Like, I did it backwards. I said, let's start the day off checking all these things off of our list, and then we get to move on to whatever, right? So it's almost like you have to be able to biohack your way around what that resistance is and set your day up for success, okay? So think about how that's showing up in your life. Think about what you're saying you want and what you're feeling you want versus the action you're actually putting out in the world. Action is going to be big in this category because the action is really what's being dictated by the subconscious. Because that is how it will often, like, if you think about it, our actions that we take every day is what we actually think about ourselves. It's that background that's saying, you know what, you are worth doing that 30-minute yoga routine, or you are worth posting that online so that people can see you. So if you're wondering, okay, am I dealing with subconscious resistance? I want you to look at it that way. Am I saying I want something, but I'm not putting forth that action to actually make it mine? I had this really crazy. You guys, I started doing TikTok. I really felt pulled towards it, and I like to follow my intuition. And so I went all in. And all that means is that I posted every day for a while. Okay, sometimes I miss a Saturday and Sunday. But for the most part, I've been posting more. And I actually decided on Monday, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do a live. And I did a live, and I was like shocked because I had over 1,000 people on there, or at least 1,000 people that viewed it. And then I had, just so many of these weird sticker things and all sorts of things I don't know anything about that I'm really having to learn. But it was a really good opportunity for me to put myself out there in a different way. A lot of people in my world, like people listening to this or people on my Facebook or Instagram, like, they know me, and there's not really much reach outside of that, right? Like, there's very few new people coming into your world. When you look at your business, you have to say, like, if I want to grow, if I want even more clients, if I want, whatever you want in your business, like, you have to keep pushing those boundaries. And it was a good lesson for me to remember. I have to keep pushing those. And even though I'm okay on the live, actually, like, I do okay. I don't freak out too bad. It was way outside of my comfort zone. And just having to do that and having to take those action steps towards that was a really good moment for me to jot down a few things that I was still trying to hide from, that I was still trying to separate me from the world in. And it's always about being seen. That's one of the things that I'm constantly working on. And I always tell you guys that. I'm always very open about that. So as you are looking at your life and the subconscious resistance that you think is showing up, I want you to consider if your actions are meeting what your desires are. And if they're not, where can you shift that? Sometimes, you guys, sometimes the healing comes from taking the action anyway, from putting yourself out there anyway. So if this is talking to you in that way, I hope that you get off this podcast right now and go do the thing that is going to get you closer to where you want to be. Let's talk a little bit about trapped emotions, because some of the things that are happening when we're healing is we're not getting all of it out. And I would say that's pretty normal. Some bigger circumstances in our lives have several layers of trapped emotions and several layers of lessons that we've learned or need to unlearn, we'll say. And so sometimes when we're releasing stuff, yes, we feel better, but hey, why are we not like perfect by now? Why are we not like totally healed human beings, right? Newsflash, none of us will ever get to that point. But I can promise you that as you do this work and you get better and better all the time, like, you're going to have so many big things come for you that it's not going to matter that you're not perfect. It's not going to matter that you still have a bad day. You're going to have that faith in yourself and in the ability to heal so much that your perspective will just change. But let's talk about how those trapped emotions will hold you into a memory. It will keep you kind of stuck on this particular situation that happened to you. And it's so difficult to get out of that if it's something that's super big. Now, I love, love, love my clients, and I love to brag on their progress because it is insane to me to be able to be somebody that helps people move past big experiences like this, things that we might consider a trauma, things that we might consider near death even sometimes. And I get to help people like that, and I'm still flabbergasted that that gets to be my job because it is so rewarding in so many ways. So you might hear me on this podcast or in real life brag on these people that 100% feel way better after just one session. And it is true. It definitely happens. But on the other side of that, there is somebody that is still in their healing journey, right? And I feel this so strongly, when we heal from something, it is because we absolutely are at that point in life where we can release that from us, where we can level up in so many ways. And it's time now to, be a different person on this front, or to release that fear, or to put ourselves out there. But at the same time, there's pieces of that we're not ready to address yet. In fact, if we were to sit down and let's say we are going to tackle every part of us that is hurt and every part of us that, plays into a certain story that we're trying to get rid of. We're just going to sit down and get rid of all of it at once. Like, I don't think a human can survive that. I don't think that it is smart or within our own wisdom to even put ourselves through that, right? I think and I believe that we are meant to do it in baby steps, that we are meant to get rid of those things on a different level. And whatever level that is, we're going to meet it there. And this is why I love the analogy of the onion, right? Like another layer of the onion. Now we're going to heal this other part because not everything is on the surface ready to be healed. And we've got to, if I've learned anything, it's that we've got to give ourselves grace for every single one of those layers. You are where you're at right now because you have taken care of X, Y, Z, and you are now at a stage of life where you are getting ready to lift off another layer and to get even better. Okay, so what this looks like is ups and downs. That's why they say healing is not linear. I totally agree with that because we go through phases of like, wow, I feel so good. Now, we hardly ever go back down into the pits, right? Like we hardly ever go so far down that we're depressed over something that was really far in the past and we've already, started working on it. That barely happens, but we might have experiences where we actually have a really traumatic thing that happens to us in the present time that causes us to bring up old things from the past, right? And so you have to understand that it's usually ups and downs, but it doesn't have to go back into that place of just complete despair. It really doesn't. So if we could just shift our perspective around what this healing journey actually looks like, I think we can give ourselves a lot more credit for the work that we're doing when we're doing it. Trapped emotions don't just disappear, okay? They settle into our bodies. That is something that we know now, and sometimes they even cause physical symptoms. So you can't think your way out of what your body still holds on to. But when you start to notice, get curious, and release what's been stuck, that's when true transformation begins. And it's not something that's pulling a Band-Aid off. This is something that happens over and over again through time. It is not something that you will be fixed tomorrow, okay? I want you guys to understand that because I want you to have the right perspective on the long end goal here and not something that's fake, because you won't ever reach that. You are setting such high standards for one healing session that you're not giving yourself enough grace to also live life, right? Because all of our experiences add up and they bring us to who we are. But I want you to know you don't need to fix yourself, okay? You just need to reconnect with the part of you that's been asking for safety all along. It's been asking for a little step towards that direction. It's been asking for releases, and healing is totally possible. but it doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be the quickest thing. It just has to be honest. So for those of you who are wondering why you have some patterns come up for you, even though you've been doing the healing, I just want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to live your life where you're at, to keep your eye on the prize, to continue to take actions that make you a little uncomfortable because you're getting closer every day, closer to that version of you that your higher self is telling you you can be. And with all of that being said, I believe in you. I think you can do it. I know you're listening to this right now because you're somebody who values emotional intelligence and spiritual well-being. And for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in your world, to be a part of that, because those are the people I truly want to attract. Those are the people I want to help. Now, if you're somebody who's been thinking about getting a session with me, I actually listed some sessions on Etsy just because I'm wondering if I want to shift from a different platform back to Etsy that I had years and years ago. And I'm kind of toying with that. But I noticed all of my reviews are from my past when I used to make deodorant and chapsticks. And I love that. And I still have that for myself, but I'm not selling that anymore. So I'm really wanting some of my people to come find me over there and maybe grab a session. So I will put a coupon code, if it's possible, in the show notes and try to give you guys a discount if you book with me over there and can leave me a review. That would be incredible. And if not, maybe I'll see you over on TikTok because I'm doing lives probably twice a week. It's looking like maybe Tuesday and Thursday, but I will let you know for sure as that happens. For now, this Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing a live on TikTok. And those are just opportunities to look at subconscious programming, help people release, and kind of just, meet new people and put myself out there in a very uncomfortable way, because that's what I'm all about. And I'm not here preaching at you to do things out of your comfort zone if I'm not going to do it too. So anyway, I'm sending you guys all my love. I hope that summer has found you and that you are already enjoying yourself. Please keep in touch, and I will talk to you soon.